Hi, this is Sarah. I'm in my Real Food kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite simple chicken dishes, which is called chicken piccata, which, as it sounds, is an Italian dish. Traditionally veal, but veal's sort of come down in the world as of late for political reasons. So it's become more popular to make it with chicken. It's a super simple dish to make, and it's very bright and light, and I just love it. Especially if you like briny things, because it's got lemon and it's got capers. And so here are the ingredients that you will need. All right, so we're back. You have the list of ingredients and the procedure I will show you. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to have some parchment or wax paper so that you can pound the chicken breast. And the way that I wrote the recipe, if you jotted that down, is simply I'm doing one large breast because I'm only serving one person tonight. So rather than tell you to get 4 chicken breasts, just always figure in that a portion of meat is about 4 to 5 ounces per person. So whatever that is for you, buy that much chicken, and then the sauce, the more sauce the better. So this recipe that I've given you will actually, you can stretch the sauce out to serve 3 or possibly 4 people. So first of all, we're going to cut the chicken breast. And this is a big chicken breast. And it weighs 8 ounces, so that's plenty. And then I'm going to cover it with another piece of parchment, and then I'm just going to pound it until it's quite flat with a mallet. This is an actual meat mallet, but you can in fact just use a hammer if that's what you have. You're not touching the meat after all. And I'll come back when I'm done to show you what it should look like. Hi, so I'm back. I've done my hammering. And this is what it ends up looking like. So it's been flattened out quite a bit. And now I'm just going to salt and pepper it a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy because, one, I tasted my chicken stock and it's a little bit on the salty side. And then we're also going to put capers in here in the sauce. So I don't want to oversalt the chicken at this point. A little bit of pepper. And then we're just going to dredge the chicken in the flour. And be thorough about it so that every part of the chicken is covered in flour. And then once it's completely covered, I like to kind of shake it off a little bit. Because if you've had a piece of meat that has too much flour on it, it gets those sort of grisly bits that aren't good. So in terms of ingredients, you can use either white wine in the sauce, or you can use vermouth. Vermouth is white wine, actually. It's just fortified white wine. And fortified means that something has been added. Sometimes it's sugar, like in the case of a port. With vermouth, it's roots and herbs and bark even. Every company that does it a little different. They've got their own proprietary recipe. But vermouth is also Italian in origin, and this is an Italian dish. And I like it when things sort of knit together like that, so we're using vermouth. All right, so now at this stage, chicken's ready. I'm going to heat some butter in the pan, and then I'll take you over to the stove, and the rest we'll do over there. So we'll be back in a sec. Hi, so I've got the chicken breasts have been dredged in flour. I've got butter, 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan, and I'm going to let it get just a little hotter. And then I think what I'm going to do, because I don't want to overcrowd the pan, is I'm just going to do one at a time. And the thing is with this dish is you have to cook the chicken and be ready to put it in the oven and keep it warm, because then we're going to make a pan sauce out of the ingredients that are in the pan, so we need to be able to remove the chicken anyway. So I've got the oven on at about 250, and I've got some tin foil ready so that I can remove the chicken when it's done. We're going to cook it about 3-4 minutes tops on each side, because it's been flattened out, so it's not going to take very long to cook, and we don't want it to overcook. So 3-4 minutes, and then I'll flip it over and it'll be nice and golden brown, and then we'll do the next one. Hi, so I'm back. The chicken has been browned on both sides. I've got it tucked in the oven in some tin foil, and now I'm going to add some more butter. And kind of loosen up the flour that's on the bottom of the pan. This is basically a pan sauce that we're making. We've got a little bit of flour that's left over in the pan from the meat. And we're going to add the shallots and the garlic. Now, if you don't have shallots, don't worry about it. Just use some other mild onion. Scallions, something like that would work fine too. Just use the white part. And we're going to saute the onions and garlic for about 2 minutes until they're aromatic and translucent. And I'm still loosening up the flour that's on the bottom of the pan. And while I'm doing this, I'll tell you how I kind of orchestrate this meal usually. So it's super easy, but it is one of those things. That's a little hot. I'm going to turn it down. It's one of those things where everything, all the components are ready at once. You serve it with pasta. Angel hair pasta goes really well with it because it's so fine. It mixes with the sauce really nicely. If you were to use a bulkier pasta, you're not going to get the right ratio of sauce and pasta in your mouth when you take a bite. And then I like to pair it with a vegetable that will be complemented by the lemony flavor. Now I'm going to add the capers. Not everyone does it this way. Some people add the capers at the end, but I like the taste of capers that have been browned a little bit. I think it just enriches their flavor. Anyway, so I was saying, it's one of those things where everything gets done at one time. And so I do some things to make it a little bit simpler in that, remember I said we've got to have the oven on so that the chicken pieces stay warm. And so I usually make a vegetable that can be roasted in the oven and then just kept warm along with the chicken breasts. And then the other thing that I do, which some people will find shocking, is I cook my pasta in advance and I keep it in a bowl. I butter it well so that it doesn't get sticky, and I cook it very al dente because I'm going to stick it in the microwave for a couple of minutes and reheat it. Now, I'm not a big fan of microwaves in general. I find them kind of freaky. I'm going to add this last little bit of butter, or big bit of butter. But for this kind of thing, they're perfect. You know, just like a quick reheat. It's not going to get cooked in there. Well, it will get cooked a little bit. That's one of the reasons I did it al dente. But otherwise it would be a hard meal to orchestrate, you know, to cook the pasta so that it's hot, get the sauce done at just the right time, get your vegetable done at the right time. So I make it easier for myself by getting those things done in advance. All right, so now at this point, I'm going to add the vermouth. About a 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit more. You know, I like my booze. So we're going to let that meld with the butter and evaporate just a little bit, like really just a little bit. And now I'm going to add the chicken stock. And the lemon juice. Now it's the juice of 1 lemon, which usually ends up being about a 1/4 cup. Don't overdo the lemon. I love lemon, and sometimes I've made this and said, well, if a little lemon is better, more is even better. And it's not, actually. Then you lose the other flavors that way. By the way, this that I'm using, which is a flat whisk, invaluable for making sauces. So I recommend you get one of these. This is made by the Roostla company, which I believe is Swiss. Anyway, they make good tools. So now we're going to cook this down, let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to add the cream, and then we'll put everything together. But I'll come back in 5 minutes when we add the cream. All right, so we're back. It's been about 5 minutes. I've let the sauce simmer and thicken. And so while I'm whisking with my handy flat whisk, I'm going to add the cream. But before I do that, I just want to say that basically right now we've got flour, we've got butter, we've got chicken stock. At this point, we have a sauce that's called a velouté, which is one of the 5 mother sauces within French cuisine. And at this stage, the sauce is already delicious. So if you are trying to, you know, make food that's lower in fat and calories, leave the cream out. One thing that you should never do if you're trying to make a sauce lighter, don't add half and half. That won't work. It'll make the sauce runny, and then it won't stick and cling to the pasta the way that you want it to. So if you're trying to reduce calories, use less cream, or in this case, leave it out. So I'm going to add, whisk in the cream, because we're going to do it the traditional way this time. And now it should be at about a 1/2 cup. And I'm just going to stir until it thickens. And then we will be ready to put everything together and enjoy our meal. All right, so like I said, everything kind of comes together all at once at the end. So I zapped my pasta in the microwave. My asparagus, which is what I chose to serve with this because it'll be delicious with those lemony flavors. Broccoli would probably be okay, although I always think of broccoli as kind of everyday. Maybe broccoli rabe would be nice to serve guests. So I took that out of the oven. The chicken was in the oven. I poured the sauce on top of it and it's ready to go. It's something that you can make from start to finish in about 40 minutes. Delicious. And anyway, here we go. We're ready with our delicious, smell is incredible, chicken piccata. Like I said, originally veal, but also very good on a piece of white fish if you don't eat meat. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I would love to read it. Thanks.